Chapter 2. Stirring up the Dragon Palace. The mischievous stone monkey borrows a treasure. Seeing that he could not stay, Sun Wukong bid farewell to Bodhi Patriarch, said goodbye to his fellow disciples, then recited a spell, rode the somersault cloud, and in less than an hour, he returned to the water curtain cave in Huaguo Mountain. Seeing the desolate and broken scene on Huaguo Mountain, he was very sorrowful. After Sun Wukong left, a demon king had taken over the water curtain cave and had taken many monkey children. After Sun Wukong heard this, he was so angry that he gritted his teeth and stomped his feet. He found out where the demon king lived, decided to take revenge on him, and flew north on his somersault cloud. In a short while, Sun Wukong arrived at the demon king's cave and shouted at the little demon at the door, "Your damn demon king has bullied us monkeys many times. Today I am here to see who is better." The little demon ran into the cave to report to the demon king. The demon king hurriedly put on his iron armor, held his big knife, and walked out of the cave door surrounded by the little demons. Sun Wukong, barehanded, snatched the demon king's big knife and cut him in half. Then, he plucked a hair from his body, chewed it up and spat it out. The hair turned into many small monkeys, who rushed into the cave, killed all the demons, then rescued the kidnapped monkey children, and set the cave on fire. Sun Wukong took back his hair and had the little monkeys close their eyes. He performed a spell and a gust of wind blew. They rode the wind back to Huaguo Mountain. Since then, Sun Wukong had the little monkeys make bamboo spears and wooden swords, and taught them martial arts with the stolen big knife. Before long, Sun Wukong felt that bamboo spears and wooden swords could not fight wars, and two monkeys told him that there must be good weapons in Aole country. Sun Wukong flew to Aole country on a cloud, recited a spell, and immediately a violent wind blew in the sky, sand and rocks flying everywhere, scaring the soldiers and civilians of the entire city from coming out. He took the opportunity to run into the armory, pulled out a hair, blew it, and it turned into thousands of small monkeys, creating chaos and grabbing indiscriminately. Seeing that it was almost time, Sun Wukong changed the wind direction and returned to Huaguo Mountain. Since then, the fame of the water curtain cave in Huaguo Mountain has grown, and all the monster leaders, that is, the cave masters of the 7 Taiwo caves, have come to meet Sun Wukong. But Wukong had one thing that bothered him. He found that the big knife was too light and not easy to use. An old ape told Wukong that under the bridge of the water curtain cave, you can go directly to the East Sea Dragon Palace, and asked him to go find the Dragon King for a suitable weapon. Wukong immediately arrived at the East Sea Dragon Palace and told the old Dragon King Ao Guang about his purpose of coming here. The Dragon King could not refuse, and ordered the shrimp soldiers to carry out a 9-tooth rake weighing 3,600 caddies. Wukong played with it for a while and found it too light. The Dragon King then ordered the crab generals to carry out a square sky halberd weighing 7,200 caddies. When Wukong saw it, he still found it too light. The Dragon King said, "There is no heavier weapon than this." Wukong didn't believe it, and quarreled with the Dragon King. The Dragon King's wife told the Dragon King during the time of the Great Yu controlling the waters, the divine treasure that measured the depth of the sea was always glowing. Give it to him, regardless of whether he can use it. Just send him away. After hearing this, the Dragon King told Wukong, "This treasure is too heavy. You can fetch it yourself." Sun Wukong followed the Dragon King to the bottom of the sea. The Dragon King pointed his hand and said, "The one that is glowing is it." Wukong saw that the divine treasure was shining with golden light, so he walked over and touched it, and it turned out to be a steel pillar, as thick as a bucket, and more than 2 meters long. Sun Wukong moved it with his hands and said, "It's too long. It would be good if it was shorter and thinner." Before Sun Wukong finished speaking, the treasure shortened by a few feet and also thinned by a circle. Sun Wukong looked at it and said it would be even better if it was a little thinner. The treasure really became much thinner, and Wukong took it and saw it written on it, "Golden Cudgel," weighing 13,500 caddies. He played with it casually for a while and found it extremely handy. Returning to the Crystal Palace, Sun Wukong asked the Dragon King to give him a suit of clothes to match. The Dragon King really didn't have it, but he was afraid of Wukong's rampaging, so he had to ring the emergency golden bell and call the Dragon Kings Ao Qin, Ao Shun, and Ao Run from the south, north, and west seas. The 3 brothers put together a suit of golden armor, a phoenix winged purple gold crown, and a pair of lotus root silk step cloud shoes and gave them to Wukong. When he returned to Huaguo Mountain, Wukong found that the golden cudgel could be shrunk to the size of an embroidery needle and hidden in his ear. One day, he invited all the monster kings to have a feast. He got drunk and fell asleep under a pine tree on the bridge. In his daze, he saw 2 people with a document written with Sun Wukong in their hands. They walked to him without saying a word, put a rope around him, and walked away. In his confusion, Wukong followed them to the outside of a city gate. He saw a sign on the city tower with the 3 big characters "Underworld" written on it. Knowing that this is where Yama lives, he turned around and was about to leave, but the 2 soul-catching ghosts held him tightly and insisted on letting him in. Sun Wukong saw this and got angry. He took out the golden cudgel from his ear and beat the 2 soul-catching ghosts into mince. He shook off the rope around him, waving the golden cudgel, and fought his way into the city, all the way to the front of the Hall of Darkness. The 10 Yama kings saw Wukong looking very fierce and were scared, not knowing what to do. Wukong said, "Since you all sit on the throne, you should have some spiritual awareness. Why didn't you know I was coming? I, old Sun, have already achieved immortality and can live forever. Hurry up and bring the Book of Life and Death." The 10 Yama kings quickly ordered the judge to bring out the Book of Life and Death for inspection. Wukong ascended the Hall of Darkness and looked all the way to the 1350th soul, where he finally found his own name. He casually picked up a pen and crossed out all the monkeys' names, saying, "This is great. This is great. From now on, you no longer have jurisdiction over us." After saying this, he fought his way out of the netherworld. The 10 Yama kings hastily went to the Jade Emperor's palace to discuss with the Siddhagarbha Bodhisattva how to report this to the Jade Emperor.